Hi, I'm Alexis. Welcome to Alexis Guitars, a channel all about guitar gear reviews, demos, comparisons, and guitar DIY mods and projects. This is part 4 of my guitar build from scratch. Now, there's been quite a large gap since the last episode in this series, and that just means I've had quite a few months to play this guitar to really get a good feel for it, and it also means I've realised there's a few things that need improving. So that's what this episode is going to be about. Let me talk you through what needs to happen and what I'm planning to do in this episode. There are 3 main jobs for this episode, and I'm going to have timestamps in the description below. So the first job I want to do is to reroute the pickup cavities. Now, although these pickups do fit in the cavities, it's a super tight fit and there's barely any wiggle room, which means that it's really hard to make adjustments on the height. Now, I didn't realize how problematic that would be until I featured this guitar in another video, which required me to swap out the pickups for a comparison. Now, swapping out the pickups for that video was such a pain, and I do want to use this guitar for future pickup comparison videos, which means it's vital that the pickup cavities are wide enough to fit any pickup that goes in. So it's time to fix that, and I bought a template this time, so hopefully I can get some nice straight edges and symmetrical shapes. The second thing I want to work on in this video is I want to widen the tunnel from the pickup cavities to the electronics cavity. The way it is now, the wires do fit. Like I said, I've been able to use this guitar, but it's such a tight fit. And again, when I did that video where I swapped out the pickups, that's where I realized how problematic this is. Now, that's only a small thing, but it's just as infuriating as the first issue with the pickup cavities. Because it's such a tight fit for the wires from the pickups and the bridge ground to get into the electronics cavity, it just makes changing the pickups such a pain. Now, I just need to widen the tunnel, which should be a very easy job, but I'm going to be so happy when it's done. The third thing I want to do is I want to deepen and also flatten out the neck pocket. Now, intonation on this guitar is great, the neck is in the right place, it's just simply too high. Now, I'm not talking about a huge change, I just want 1 millimeter or 2 deeper, at least to start with, to see how that changes things, because at the moment the pickups do stick out quite a lot more than I want them to. But that's only half of the issue, and that doesn't really affect playability that much. In the hands it feels great. Also, by doing that, it's a great opportunity to flatten out the neck pocket. Now, how flat the neck pocket is a bigger concern to me than how deep it is. Now, the contact between the neck and the actual body of the guitar is super important, and unfortunately on this guitar there's a gap. Now, when I was putting this guitar together for the first time, I assumed that what I was seeing in that gap was just the rounded edges of the neck heel, or the neck pocket rather. But unfortunately no, it is actually a gap, which means that there's not good contact between the neck and the body, and I'm sure that affects sustain, among many other things. So that's the plan, let's get to work. So this is about 3 months after that introduction video I filmed. I've just been busy with other projects, and this is what I'm going to start work on. You can see here it's the tunnel that connects the electronics cavity to the pickups, and also the bridge ground connection. I think I use an 8mm bit for that, so I need to double check. So I'm going to make it 10mm, because at 8mm everything really squeezes through when I really tug at the cables, which is not something I want to do. Anyway, the reason I'm making this quick video and not just getting straight to it is because I took everything off. Took off all the pickups, all the hardware, and the neck, obviously. And it revealed this, and I forgot how terrible a job I did at this. This is ugly. Anyway, it does the job, but not too well. So I'm I'm considering whether I should fill them and do them again. It's going to be a lot of work. But I do want this to be a nice guitar, and it's almost a nice guitar, so we'll see. I'm starting with the easy job though. So that job's done now. You can see 10mm hole, there's still some remainders of the remaining dust there. 10mm hole drilled through, so that's awesome, and nice and easy. I don't know why I just didn't do that first time round. And I thought I'd just give you an update on the next job I'm going to be doing, which is the pickups, or the pickup cavities rather. When I put this pickup template, this humbucker template on, you can see on either side, sorry it's a little bit dark, but you can see on either side there's excess material, which is not good. So what is cool about that is, with this excess material, what I can do is, instead of lining this up perfectly in the middle, I can line it up something like this, and push it only a couple mil this direction. And what that will do is allow the pickup to be ever so slightly closer to the bridge, but I think millimeters really make a huge difference when you're this close to the bridge. On my neck it probably doesn't make as much of a difference, but down here it would. So that's what I'm planning to do next. Can't do that today, so I'm going to have to do that another day. This project is taking ages, but the next job, wrap this out.
the pickup cavities have been routed out. They're looking much nicer than before. I also, like I said earlier, I kind of shifted the pickup this way a little bit closer towards the bridge, so it'll only be a millimeter or so difference, maybe 2, but hopefully that makes a big difference in tone and brightens up this bridge pickup. Now, neck pocket to go. I'm just going to get it ever so slightly lower, not quite sure, maybe down to about here where the edge of my fingertip is, my fingernail, sorry. So just a tiny little change. Okay, there we go. Flattened it out a lot more. This little dent is just where I plunged without it in. But this is flat enough, and I've lost a lot of depth, which is fantastic. So that should help out in terms of how high the strings are above the body. Also means that the pickups won't need to stick out so much like they did before. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up, get it all nice again, all of this dust away, and then I'm gonna think: do I just set it all up again and do the lazy thing, or do I contemplate plugging all these holes, especially at the back where the holes are for the, what are they called? Those round things where the screws sit into at the back. Okay, so I'm going to get this cleaned up and think it's good to go. So I've decided that these holes are far too hideous and they need to be filled. I think I'm going to fill all of them, even these ones here. I'm going to just have to drill them out all again. So I'm going to need, I don't know if this is 8 or 6 mil for dowels for these holes basically, and then these are between 15 and 16 mil, which is great because this thing, with a bit of sanding maybe and a bit of encouragement, should fit in, and I can use this random piece of wooden rod I have, and I can use that to fill up the holes. So plugging my holes was actually pretty successful. I'm happy with this job, and I drew some guides, some pilot holes, which will make it easier later on. And now it's just a case of re-drilling out the holes for these things, and I always forget the names of these things. I call them screw bushings, or I can't remember. Either way, they're all going to go roughly in the same position. So now time to do a better job than I did last time. So that's much cleaner. I know it looks nasty inside. That's a mixture of glue, which maybe still need a bit longer to dry out, debris from actually drilling this out, and wood. It's looking a bit messy on the inside, but the actual circles, the actual drilled bits are much cleaner, and yeah, I'm much happier with that. I can live with this. How do I get this up? There we go. I can live with this, so that's fine. This has had a few hours to cure, it's feeling good, and it's time to install some pickups. So I filled in the holes that were there previously. Need to chip away the toothpick which I used to plug the hole, and I'm going to drill ones slightly next to it.
So this guitar has turned out way better than I had hoped. And before I get into talking about the improvements I did and the next steps, no, your eyes are not fooling you. Everything is looking a little bit different to the beginning of the video, and that's because this video and all the work that was involved has taken about 6 months to complete. I started filming this in January 2021, it's now mid-July, and the reason for that starts with great and ends with guitar build of 2021. So this guitar here was meant to be my first guitar build completely from scratch. But then the great guitar build of 2021 happened, and I ended up building this guitar completely from scratch. So this one technically is my first scratch build, and it's taken over the last 5 months of my life. Anyway, back to this guitar here. So my original plan, once I had routed out the pickup cavities and made it easier to swap pickups in this guitar, was to change out the pickups for something a bit brighter. But now, after having done all the work that you saw in this video, these are sounding great. I think I'm going to keep these pickups in. Definitely the bridge pickup. Now this is a set of the Iron Gear rolling mill pickups with an over-wound rolling mill in a bridge. I made a video about the over-wound rolling mill, installed it in another guitar, absolutely loved it, installed it in this guitar, and it didn't have any definition. It sounded really dull, and to be honest, it just didn't deliver what I wanted it to. Now it's sounding a lot more like that pickup which I remember it to be. So doing all the improvement works and correcting my mistakes turned out to be a lot more work than I expected it to be. But having built another guitar completely from scratch in between starting and finishing this video, I think that experience really came in handy. So I deepened the neck pocket and flattened it out, and now the pickups are sitting a lot deeper into the guitar body, which is exactly what I wanted. So I'm really happy with that. But, and it's a bit annoying, there's still a little bit of a gap between the heel, the neck heel, and the actual pocket. And I think that's because the actual template I had, it started to bend a little bit under the weight of the router, kind of up here where there was nothing supporting the template underneath. So what that means is actually it's not that the gap is all the way down, the neck pocket kind of goes at an ever so slight angle, I'm exaggerating here, but ever so slight angle towards the end, because the gap gets a little bit wider up at the end and it's a lot closer to the body down here. So it's nothing that a shim won't fix. I don't need to reroute the saw. I think I'm just going to stick a shim in and maybe just do a bit of sanding to kind of flatten it all out. But to be honest, the guitar's sounding better, it feels a lot better to play, and I think a big reason for that is the better construction on this neck pocket now, because even though there's a little gap, it's way better than before. The other reason I think why I'm happier with the sound of this guitar is because I moved the neck pickup, the bridge pickup a millimeter or two down towards the bridge, because the template I had was wide enough that I had that room to play, and I pushed it down ever so slightly. So hopefully, or not hopefully, but I think that's the reason why it's got that slightly brighter sound with a bit more definition. So I'm at a stage where I'm really happy with the guitar body. Now I need to focus on making a new neck, because this neck here, it came from a Harley Benton Telecaster, or T-type guitar kit, I should say. And I actually like the neck. It's really comfortable. It's a 12-inch radius, so I'm comfortable with that as well. But the plan from the start was to make my own neck and to really make this whole guitar from scratch. So that's going to be the next focus. I really want to do it. It's just a case of time. So that'll be the next thing to do whenever I can. Alright, I think I'm going to leave the video here for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Drop me a comment below letting me know your thoughts. And if you're new here and haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing and clicking the bell. Alright, that's all from me for now. Till next time.